One morning, taking the initial stride from the bed toward the window, a person suddenly notices that their legs no longer obey with the same willingness as before. It is not pain, but rather a simple reduction in assurance. The internal spring that previously allowed for effortless stair climbing and rapid movement without the need to consider how a joint was supported or how a muscle was reacting has vanished. As you know, many individuals reminisce about their youthful days when their bodies responded to every movement instantly and with delight. A number of my patients, those older than 50, are familiar with this sensation. They talk about it with a slight hint of sadness, yet also with a certain fondness, as though recalling an old comrade. Nevertheless, these memories contain a vital piece of information. Some people's legs decline not abruptly, but merely require support. And what we consume each morning possesses greater significance than meets the eye. The morning meal serves as the primary source of energy for the musculature, blood vessels, joints, and nervous system, which collectively ensure stability, strength, and confidence in locomotion. I have observed for many years how people's lives are transformed by a single, straightforward custom that not everyone is aware of. Oddly enough, this is precisely what I consistently recommend to those who wish to restore certainty, vigor, and the feeling of striding like a young person to their legs. There exists one morning foodstuff that is inexpensive and simple, and it aids in fortifying leg muscles, maintaining the proper function of ligaments, and enhancing joint nourishment. Nothing can truly replicate this effect. It is not achieved in a single day, but it establishes a foundation that most individuals do not even suspect exists. Furthermore, I will certainly discuss it near the close because it is crucial to grasp why it is so beneficial for those in advanced age. When a person comprehends the mechanism, they act with intention, leading to a more potent outcome. In addition, I wish to ask you to recall a specific instance from your own life. Perhaps it is a stroll along the waterfront where your legs do not tire, a hike in the woods where you are certain of every step. Maybe it is an ascent up a morning staircase where you hardly even noticed the climb. This ease of movement is an achievable reality that can be regained not through strenuous physical training or costly procedures, but through continuous internal work, nutrition, blood flow, and the restoration of micro-muscle fibers. We shall now lay the groundwork for the ensuing section so that every subsequent explanation becomes a natural continuation of a deeper understanding rather than a fragmented piece. Yet the legs encompass not just muscles, but also vessels, physiology, metabolism, and even the condition of the brain. Yes, the quality of nerve impulses influences the steadiness of your gait. Therefore, everything we are about to discuss pertains to physical state and the internal vigor that is indispensable after the age of 50. Before we learn more, allow me to request your support for this video by subscribing and liking it. Through such uncomplicated actions, I can continue to share beneficial and significant information that genuinely assists people. Please do this right now so as not to lose the thread, and so that the algorithms will present the video to others who may also require it. We will now proceed gently as a person views everyday provisions differently once they begin to understand what transpires inside their organism in the morning. It is with this realization that genuine restoration commences. Over the next few weeks, I am prepared to inform you about several helpful morning practices that will contribute to the improvement of your legs. When an individual between the ages of 5 and 10 contemplates their legs, they typically think of exertion, drills, and walking. However, the most intriguing aspect is that diet affects the leg muscles more profoundly than any other element. Moreover, if they are supplied with the appropriate sustenance in the morning, they begin to recover in a different manner, more swiftly, deeply, and robustly. In connection with this, I would like to expand upon the concept I have already touched upon. The morning foodstuff I mentioned briefly only functions when the body is prepared for it. It must have sufficient structural materials, and the vessels must be ready to transmit everything essential to every single muscle cell. Before we uncover the main secret near the conclusion, it is important for us to describe the first crucial element that helps to strengthen the legs of nearly every person. Proteins are the first to start applying this regularly. These are not trendy supplements or specialized shakes, but just ordinary, natural protein from familiar foods. It initiates muscle recovery in the morning, rendering them denser, stronger, and virtually fully reinstating their capacity to withstand strain. Many individuals ask, why specifically in the morning? The reason is this. After a night's rest, the body experiences a minor depletion of nutrients. Internal processes operate conservatively, muscles await refueling, and the level of amino acids in the bloodstream diminishes. Once a person consumes high-quality protein, their body directs it to the muscles of the lower limbs. After all, they support the body's mass and are also responsible for balance, steadiness, and consistent blood circulation. Scientific investigations indicate that in individuals over the age of 50, protein absorption decreases by approximately 15% to 20%. Therefore, a morning intake of protein-rich food yields a noticeable outcome. It usually eliminates the sensation of leg weakness, compensating for the natural, age-related decline. It is even referred to as the anabolic window of mature age, which, though not as powerful as for athletes, is founded on the same principle. In the morning, the muscle is more receptive to nutrition and recovery than at other times of the day. I frequently recount one illustration to my patients. I had a 63-year-old male patient, an engineer. Although his walking was moderate, he could not fathom why his legs felt like cotton wool by evening. We started simply. He used to begin his morning with a cup of tea and a slice of bread. That was all. He noticed that after a week of adding a boiled egg, cottage cheese, fish, or a natural protein item, he started to feel less fatigued. After 3 weeks, he stated that his legs had become firmer and his steadiness had returned. He also said that his physiology had improved and his muscles, receiving amino acids every morning, began to rebuild more quickly. Moreover, the micro-habit for breakfast is exceedingly straightforward. Incorporate 20 to 25 grams of protein in the morning. This could be a modest helping of cottage cheese, unsweetened yogurt, eggs, fish, or lean meat if you feel comfortable. Consistency is paramount. Morning protein significantly affects the state of the legs, even if the remaining meals throughout the day proceed as usual. Not only does strength increase, but the function of the neuromuscular connections improves. This signifies a more assured step, a diminished likelihood of losing equilibrium and superior movement. It is essential to understand that this is only the beginning. Although protein is the foundation, it is not the sole means. The ensuing development will be a logical continuation. Legs demand not only building blocks, but also efficient blood supply and substances that safeguard the joints and assist muscles to operate without inflammation. Consequently, when a person introduces morning protein, their body, as it were, revitalizes. However, there is another component that performs far better than many realize. We will now move on to the next segment because leg nourishment encompasses not only muscle power, but also the body's capacity to receive oxygen and expel metabolic byproducts. Thus, the next element directly determines how easily the strain on the legs is endured throughout the day. A person takes a major step toward the restoration of leg strength when they begin to fuel the muscles with protein in the morning. However, muscles are only one side of the coin. The other half consists of the blood vessels. They determine everything, whether the leg fatigues quickly, how confidently it supports the body, how rapidly it recovers following exertion, and whether there is swelling, heaviness, or a dull, aching exhaustion after a night's sleep. Furthermore, a deficiency of protein in the muscles means that the blood vessels simply cannot execute their functions properly if you do not receive adequate morning sustenance. One of the most crucial processes that many people undervalue is the morning enhancement of blood flow, as leg power depends not only on the muscles, but also on how effectively blood reaches the deepest musculature and returns, carrying away waste products. If the morning circulation is sluggish, the legs feel leaden by midday. Initially, it is difficult to climb stairs, then it becomes stiff, and sometimes it feels as though the legs are heavy and swollen. Furthermore, foods containing natural nitrates are what I recommend to nearly everyone over the age of 50. Nitrates is a frightening word, but only because it is often associated with additives in processed meats. But natural nitrates are different. Common vegetables contain them, and this naturally and physiologically aids in vessel dilation. Consuming a small quantity of natural nitrates in the morning widens the blood vessels in the legs, allowing blood to flow more readily through the minute capillaries. Thus, muscles receive more oxygen, become less acidic, and tire more slowly. Beets, leafy green vegetables, and celery are the most abundant sources of natural nitrates, but beets are especially beneficial in the morning because they dilate blood vessels gently and gradually. A whole series of studies has substantiated this. Over the next 3 hours, the microvessels start to operate more actively in response to beet juice or a small serving of cooked beets. Specifically, the legs most frequently require support during the first half of the day. I have often witnessed this. A 58-year-old woman, an accountant by profession, came to me complaining that her legs felt like lead by the middle of the day. She began adding a small portion of beets, approximately 70 to 100 grams in the morning. Within 2 weeks, she declared, "It's a strange sensation. My legs feel lighter by lunchtime." After a month, she added, "I walk faster and don't feel weary." This is not a miracle. When the vessel receives natural fueling, it ceases to spasm. This effect can also be explained through scientific facts. In individuals older than 50, there is a noticeable decrease in the activity of the enzyme responsible for producing nitric oxide, a substance that regulates vascular tone. That is to say, the body is physically unable to maintain relaxed vessels. Moreover, the straightest route to restoring this mechanism lies in natural nitrates. Saliva and oral bacteria naturally convert them into nitric oxide. Therefore, even a small portion is beneficial. I usually recommend a simple practice for breakfast to maximize this effect. Take several spoons of grated beets or half of a small cooked beet and eat it in the morning alongside a source of protein. This could be cottage cheese, an egg, or fish. The combination is important. Beets and protein give the muscles building material and improved blood flow. The combination is superior to each component in isolation. After 7 days, most people notice that their legs feel better. 14 days mean improved steadiness. 21 days means that accustomed loads are endured more easily. Gradualness, without sudden leaps, overexertion, or stress, is particularly vital in advanced age. Continuing this concept, it is important to remember that good blood flow is not everything. The leg must be protected internally. Even if the muscles and vessels are strong, the vigor will still dissipate if the joints are suffering, if inflammation is eroding the cartilage, or if the ligaments are not receiving enough sustenance. Therefore, the next thing I wish to discuss is the deep structures of the legs which we feel with every step, despite them being invisible to the eye. Before continuing, allow me to remind you once more to support this video by subscribing and liking it. You are demonstrating that such vital matters must continue to be discussed. Furthermore, the algorithms show the videos to people who are also seeking answers about health thanks to these simple actions. From this point onward, the true foundation of joint and ligament longevity begins, because without their protection, maintaining the strength of your stride is impossible. The revitalization of the legs commences when the muscles receive morning protein and the vessels get natural nitrates. A person feels this quite quickly. Their movements become more fluid and they stride with greater assurance. But the deep aspect is rarely discussed until it starts to creak. The joints and ligaments are responsible for every load, every stride, and every stair climb. Moreover, the joints serve as the support for all movement, just as the muscles serve as the engine and the vessels serve as the conduits. Furthermore, without protection, the power of the legs will not be complete and at times even hazardous, because muscles can strengthen, leaving the joint unprepared. I have observed one pattern over many years. After the age of 50, the knee, hip, and ankle joints lose water more rapidly than in youth. This is pure physiology. Cartilage tissue receives less nourishment, the intra-articular fluid decreases, and the ligaments become stiffer. And the person begins to sense this through minor indicators. The staircase feels like it creaks beneath their feet, squatting becomes more difficult, and they start to feel brief clicks when they move. Although they are not yet painful, they are already signaling that the tissues need help. At this point, the third crucial component appears in the morning. It is protective, not about strength. It is omega-3 fatty acids, and while this sounds overly familiar, their role changes with age. Some individuals believe that omega-3 is good for the heart. It is the basis of synovial fluid and lubrication for the ligaments. They reduce background inflammation in the cartilage tissue and the rate of its deterioration. Furthermore, they are especially effective in the morning when the level of inflammatory markers in the body is elevated after the night. This is a normal reaction to the fact that tissues are updating throughout the night. A significant number of studies have investigated the impact of omega-3 on the joint health of people over the age of 50. One of them demonstrated that the morning consumption of omega-3 reduces inflammatory processes in the joints by approximately 20 to 30% after 6 to 8 weeks. However, this is not the most interesting part. Omega-3 improves the conductivity of the nerve fibers leading to the leg muscles. Thus, not only the joint benefits, but the muscle also begins to react more swiftly. Consequently, the gait becomes slightly better in some individuals after a couple of weeks. Patients are often surprised when I tell them this. I thought omega-3 was beneficial for the blood vessels. Furthermore, it is true that they assist the blood vessels. But the main thing they accomplish is reducing the microinflammation that erodes the cartilage over years. If this is not reduced, even the strongest muscles will struggle. The legs must be not only robust, but also safeguarded. The simplest morning micro habit: add omega-3. If fish is not suitable, this could be a piece of fatty fish, herring, mackerel, trout, salmon, or a spoon of flaxseed oil. Both work. Regularity is decisive. Furthermore, the effect I observe nearly every day is derived from the combination of protein and natural nitrates. The person begins to feel that their joints become slightly softer, as if lubrication is being introduced, and their stride becomes easier. Understanding this mechanism is enhanced by a small amount of scientific information. Chondrocytes are the cells present in the cartilage of the legs. They are responsible for the renewal of cartilage tissue. Omega-3 supports the function of these cells, protects the membranes, and reduces oxidative stress when the cells age. That is, they allow the body to restore cartilage more slowly, but more consistently. This is also crucial for maintaining stability in the age range of 50 to 60. I once had a patient, a 62-year-old instructor. She said she was afraid to squat because her knees felt wooden. We added omega-3 in the morning. After a month, she reported that she was no longer afraid to squat. I feel that I can bend my knee calmly. Biochemistry, not miracles. The joint received building material and support against inflammation. Nevertheless, the power of the legs is not solely influenced by the joints. There is one more topic that few people know about until I disclose it. This is energy balance, because even the strongest muscles and healthiest joints will not function properly if they lack sufficient energy. A fourth crucial component enters the scene in the morning, which imperceptibly fortifies the legs and the organism's general condition. Since it continues everything we have already started, we will approach it gradually without severing the thread. Before moving to the next level, I want to remind you to subscribe and like right now. You are supporting the work that helps people better understand their bodies and age wisely rather than painfully. Furthermore, the likelihood that people will preserve their health longer increases if more individuals view this content. When the joints receive protection, the muscles get building material and the vessels are granted freedom for blood flow, we can move forward by nourishing our legs at the level of cellular energy. The picture seems almost complete, but there is a hidden part without which the legs do not acquire that nostalgic vigor. This part demands more effort than the muscles and joints. It is responsible for a person's steadiness while standing, their assurance during a stride, and the speed with which their body reacts to changes in the surface beneath their feet. We are talking about the energy of every cell that permits us to move without fatigue, trembling, or a cotton wool sensation. The body experiences a decline in energy production inside the muscle cells with advancing age. This is primarily linked to the mitochondria, the small energy stations. And this is a natural process. After 50, their activity diminishes, which leads to sensations such as rapid leg tiredness, heavy steps, and difficulty with uphill climbs. At this moment, the fourth vital morning component, magnesium, appears, not in the way we are accustomed to. It is not a medication for relaxation or calmness. Magnesium is the essential mineral involved in the reaction that forms ATP, the very energy molecule without which muscles cannot operate fully. Furthermore, the body senses its scarcity in the morning. That is why many people say they feel leg weariness by the close of the first half of the day, even with little exertion. There is precise data, the muscles are not weak, and the energy metabolism is not poor. Even with normal blood tests, almost 50% of people over the age of 50 suffer from a magnesium deficiency. Why is this the case? Because the level of magnesium in the blood is not an indicator. It is expended in the muscles, nerves, and the cartilage itself. And a standard analysis cannot detect its reduction there. However, it is very easy to notice. The person observes that their legs tire more quickly than before. Cramps appear during sleep. The step becomes less springy. In the morning, you will have more time to spend. These are typical signs of a concealed deficiency, which is why the morning is ideal for magnesium. Magnesium participates in the reactions that trigger energy production when the body is just beginning to function. It improves the transmission of nerve impulses, enhances the accuracy of muscle contractions, and reduces the risk of microspasms that cause that unpleasant heaviness you might experience. After a week, a person notices that their legs maintain balance more easily if they regularly consume magnesium in the morning. After 2 weeks, more strength remains by the evening. After a month of regular consumption, the fatigue disappears almost automatically. The influence of magnesium on the blood vessels of the legs is the most interesting part. It improves blood flow after sleep, reduces the risk of morning spasms, and accelerates natural relaxation. Therefore, when you add magnesium to your morning diet, it impacts the blood vessels, nerves, muscles, and other organs simultaneously. Furthermore, when natural nitrates and omega-3 are added to protein, the effect becomes deeper and more consistent. Moreover, I always suggest a small habit for breakfast. Add magnesium-rich foods to your morning diet. This could be spinach, oatmeal, seeds, nuts, or buckwheat. Some people also utilize magnesium in supplements. If correctly chosen, this is also acceptable. Regularity, however, is decisive. Even a small amount of magnesium in the morning strengthens the leg muscles and supports their mobility throughout the day. There is one more piece of important information. Magnesium helps to lower cortisol levels. Furthermore, elevated cortisol contributes to the destruction of collagen and the deterioration of blood vessel function. Thus, morning magnesium safeguards the cells from stress. This is more biochemistry than psychology, and with age, a person acquires greater control over these processes. Nevertheless, it must be recalled that the mechanism of leg strength only includes energy. The next component no longer relates to muscles, joints, blood vessels, or energy. It pertains to how the legs respond to the surroundings and how quickly they adapt to movement. The degree of precision with which the receptors that inform the brain about the body's position in space function. Furthermore, without this, the leg will never truly become youthful. We will gradually approach what many underestimate, but which ensures an assured step and a steady gait, just as in youth. When cellular energy increases, joints are protected, vessels work more freely, and muscles receive the correct building material, we obtain powerful, stable legs. But there is a subtle, nearly invisible part without which a person will never possess that confident gait they had in their youth. This is what is typically overlooked, even though it is a crucial component of body stability, no less than muscular strength. We are talking about the sensitivity of the nerves and muscles and how accurately the legs comprehend the surface beneath them and transmit information to the brain about the body's position. With age, this sensitivity naturally decreases. The connection between the brain and the leg muscles deteriorates, the speed of reaction diminishes, and the receptors in the feet and shins become less active. Furthermore, while your steps were precise in youth, even when traversing uneven ground, everything changes after 50. More caution, control, and attention are required. A person may not even notice how they begin to splay their feet, reduce their stride length, and lose self-assurance when walking. Furthermore, this is not related to age, weakness, or vision problems. It is a reduction in sensitivity. Thus, the fifth component that is critical for morning nourishment appears here. Foods with B group vitamins, especially vitamins B1, B6, and B12. These vitamins are responsible for the quality of nerve impulse transmission in mature age. They support the sheaths of nerve fibers, assist muscles to move correctly, and improve the accuracy and coordination of the step. Without them, muscles cannot develop and joints are not injured. Furthermore, blood vessels are healthy. However, the leg will still remain sluggish. It will not react more quickly than necessary. A reduction in B group vitamins is very common after the age of 50, especially vitamin B12. Poor absorption is the reason. Furthermore, a person may not notice that they feel a slight heaviness after a walk, tingling in the feet, and uncertainty when walking. All of these are the initial signs of a relaxation of the neuromuscular connection, and if it is not supported, muscle strength cannot fully manifest. In people over the age of 50, levels may show a reduction in leg sensitivity to the boundaries of the norm. In another study, it was found that the regular consumption of B group vitamins improves the speed of nerve conduction within 6 to 8 weeks. Furthermore, this directly impacts the steadiness of the step and the speed with which the muscles react to the brain's command. This has been noted by me in many patients. One 67-year-old man said that when he walks on an uneven path, he feels like he cannot sense the ground. After a month, he said that it became easier to walk once we added eggs, whole grain cereals, lean meat, and foods rich in B group vitamins to our morning diet. Although it is a rare phrase, it accurately describes the essential elements of the processes. Furthermore, the morning micro-habit is very simple. Add B group vitamins. This may include oatmeal, an egg, lean meat, or whole grain bread. Systematicity is paramount. B group vitamins do not work immediately. They continuously restore conductivity, although this happens slowly. After 14 to 21 days, many people notice that their step becomes more precise, their feet cease to feel like cotton wool, and they begin to feel the surface better. There is one more important piece of information. B group vitamins are necessary for mitochondria to function. That is, they support both nervous conduction and muscle energy production. Furthermore, it seems that this component unites everything previously mentioned: energy, vessels, joints, muscles. Now, when we have almost entirely assembled the entire system, the most crucial aspect is the power of the legs, the product I alluded to at the beginning. It does not work on its own, but only after all the preceding components have prepared the foundation. It increases steadiness, maintains energy, improves blood flow, aids muscle restoration, and fortifies joints. Furthermore, it is one of the most readily available and effective ways to restore youthfulness to the legs, although it is rarely given much consideration. We will approach it gradually, step by step, so that it can integrate into the already existing system. Logically, like any other completion of a sequence, in the next segment, I will disclose that very morning product that genuinely and quickly helps to restore leg strength. When all the layers are formed, muscles receive protein and natural nitrates open the vessels, omega-3 protects the joints, magnesium supports cellular energy, and B group vitamins improve neuromuscular sensitivity. The body is ready for the final step, for that component that works quietly and is not highly advertised. I said I would only reveal it at the close because its action would be incomplete without an understanding of the preceding processes. It requires a support team to engage in the strengthening of the legs. After we have assembled it, we can finally define what makes this morning ritual especially potent. It is ordinary oatmeal, natural, whole, without sugar or colorants. The non-instant flakes that require minimal cooking. One of the most undervalued products for leg strength is oatmeal. Although its effect is ideally suited for people over the age of 50, it is not just the energy it provides. Its main ability is to simultaneously support the nervous system, muscles, joints, and blood vessels. It is not an exotic or expensive product, but simply a natural product that is effectively utilized in multiple areas. Beta-glucans, special fibers that improve the condition of blood vessels and reduce bad cholesterol levels, are present in oatmeal. Thus, blood flow in the legs becomes freer. The small capillaries conduct blood better, which ensures more oxygen for the muscles. Therefore, many people who start eating oatmeal in the morning say that it becomes easier for them to walk. This is a result of improved microcirculation, not imagination. Blood does not stagnate and the load is endured more gently. Slow, sustained carbohydrates are the second reason. Regular sugar spikes in mature age only worsen the condition of the legs. The sensation of weakness, a cotton wool feeling, and instability appears. Furthermore, oatmeal provides even long-lasting energy. Muscles work calmly without excessive tension or dips. The energy to stride confidently, a constant refueling for several hours without abrupt movements. The third reason is the high level of the microelements, manganese, phosphorus, and magnesium in the muscles, which support muscle restoration and reduce muscle tension. Although oatmeal contains many minerals, protein, and fiber, oatmeal is an excellent morning source of magnesium that can be obtained from other foods. After 2 to 3 weeks of regular consumption, the effect becomes noticeable. Oatmeal is beneficial for the joints for one more reason. It contains avenanthramides, antioxidants that are rare substances that reduce inflammation and improve the condition of cartilage tissue. According to several studies, the regular consumption of oatmeal reduces inflammatory markers related to joints. Oatmeal does not renew the joint, but it helps it remain mobile and react less to strain. Nevertheless, the main effect of oatmeal is its influence on the nervous system. It slowly raises sugar levels, creating favorable conditions for the neuromuscular system. Receptors in the shins and feet operate more precisely, transmit signals faster, and the step becomes more intentional and steady. Furthermore, older individuals who start eating oatmeal regularly often notice that their legs become softer in the morning, not stiff or tense, but specifically soft. This is a very important feeling. I often tell patients, oatmeal is more than just food. It is a daily biochemical training session for the legs. It is the combination of energy, vascular support, anti-inflammatory agents, joint protection, and improved nerve conduction. It helps the legs work in concert. It is for this reason that I postponed it until the end, so that you could see how it logically completes everything we have already said. Although it does not replace the preceding components, it intensifies their impact and ensures the stability of the entire system. Preparation for tomorrow. A small serving of oatmeal. You can cook it with water or milk, as you prefer. A spoon of flaxseed can be added. This will increase the influence of omega-3. It can be eaten with an egg or cottage cheese. This will combine the slow carbohydrates with protein. A breakfast beneficial for the blood vessels can include a small amount of beets. This is a calm morning ritual that establishes the foundation for healthy and confident legs. After a week, most people feel better. 2 weeks signifies steadiness. After a month, it seems that I wake up faster. Consistent morning support led to this. However, attitude is crucial. I constantly reiterate that the health of the legs is respect for the body, not age. It is a sensible decision to provide it with what helps to maintain its youthfulness. Furthermore, the time a person invests every morning always returns several times over in steadiness, strength, and freedom of movement. Moreover, if you have listened to this work to the end, it signifies that you genuinely desire to gain more strength. Your participation is the first step toward change. Therefore, like and subscribe right now. This is the third and final instance where I ask for this intentionally. You are supporting an activity that helps people move confidently and preserve their health even in mature age. Act right now. Tomorrow morning can be the beginning of a significant transformation. May your stride become strong, steady, and vibrant, just as in the best of times.